Hello, the topic of today's lesson is percentages. How to find percent, how to identify percents, how to calculate them, model them, solve word problems that involve percentages. It's a new skill. Welcome to 5th grade. However, you will find it very easy to understand because percentages are fractions. Except these are such easy fractions because we count percentages out of 100 equal parts. Whatever parts you want out of 100 equal parts translate to be percent. You're all familiar with percentages. We see them on our devices, 86% charge, 50% charge, and so on. So let's take a look. There are 100 seats in a theater. 55 of them are occupied and 45 are empty. 55% of the seats are occupied, and we can say similarly 45% of seats are empty, vacant. 55% means 55 out of 100 equal parts. 55% is another way of saying 55 out of 100, or convert it into decimals, which we know how to do, 0.55 or 55 hundredths. These are equivalent statements. 55% is equivalent to 0.55 is equivalent to 55 hundredths. Let's practice this. This whole square, 10 by 10 square of 100 small parts, is divided into 100 equal parts. 27 of them are shaded. We can say 27% is shaded. Let's practice this. Number 2, what percentage of the whole is shaded? Well, let's see. These are tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 3 taken away, 67%. We can say 67 out of 100 equal parts. We can also say 0.67 hundredths, all equivalent. Here we have a half, right? Which is the same as 50%, which is the same as 50 out of 100 equal parts, which is the same as 1/2 of a whole, 50%. And over here, well, we do see that it is 9 out of hundreds, 9 out of 100 equal parts, or 0.09 hundredths, or 9%. And here we have one whole, which is 100%. So it's 100 out of 100 equal parts, which equals to one whole. We can also say 100%. Write each of the following as the percentage. And for number 4, express each fraction as a percentage. Let's practice this. So 33 out of 100 is clearly 33%. I'm going to skip. 5 out of 100 is 5%. 23 out of 100 is 23%. 70 out of 100 is 70%. 75 out of 100 is 75%. Notice how I just go randomly. 40 out of 100 is 40%. We got it. Now 3/10. Oh, we have to convert this fraction to its equivalent out of 100 equal parts, which is the same as 30 out of 100, same as 30%. Similarly, 5/10. 5/10, let's convert it, find an equivalent out of 100 equal parts, easy peasy, 50 out of 100, or 50%. So 3/10 is the same as 30 out of 100, and therefore we say it's the same as 30%. I hope you guys are getting a hang of it. This is not difficult, and with a little bit of practice, everybody jumps on it very quickly. So now we're giving decimals. And we need to convert them to percentages. Not that difficult. We need to convert them to percentages. Let's practice that skill. 0.35 is 35 hundredths, 35%. 7 hundredths is 7%. 2 hundredths is 2%. 85 hundredths is 85%. 7/10. Well, I hope you remember 7/10 is the same as 70, right? Trailing zeros are equivalent. We can say 70%. Now, we're looking at percentages and we need to convert them to decimals. Percentages to decimals. That is what we're trying to do. We're trying to convert them to decimals. Okay, let's try this route. Not that difficult. 43% is the same as 43 out of 100 equal parts. We must write it as a decimal. Super easy, 0.43. See how easy it is? 28% is 28 out of 100 equal parts. 88% is 88 out of 100 equal parts. 30% is 30 out of 100 equal parts. 5% is 5 out of 100 equal parts, which is equivalent in decimal format 0.28, 0.88, 0.3, and 0.5 hundredths. How easy. Next, 40% of flowers are roses right here. This is our 40%. What fractions of the flower are roses? Well, 40% is 40 out of 100. We need to simplify fractions to make it into simple terms. So both 40 and 100 are divisible by 20. Divide by 20. What we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. What we do to the top, we must do to the bottom to generate an equivalent fraction, and it is the same as 2/5. 2/5 of the flowers are roses. 2/5 of them are roses, and 3/5 are not roses. So 2/5 are roses. So the next exercise we do, not difficult at all. Express each percentage as a fraction in simplest form. Remember, we always simplify our fractions. So let's go. 10%, let's rewrite it first as 10 out of hundreds. 80% is 80 out of 100. 25% is 25 out of 100 equal parts. 75% is 75 out of 100 equal parts. Next, we have to simplify. Well, this is 1/10. This is 8/10 divided by 2. It is 4/5. You can probably do it in your heads already. 25 hundredths is 1/4. 75 hundredths, I hope you remember quickly, it's 3/4. 75 cents is 3/4. Let's look at the bottom line. This is 5 out of 100 equal parts. 8% is 8 out of 100. 4% is 4 out of 100 equal parts. And 2%, let's continue. So 5 hundredths is 1/20th. 8 out of hundreds divided by 4 is 2 out of 25. 4 hundredths is 1 out of 25. And 2%, I hope you can jump straight to it. It's 1/50. 1 out of 50 equal parts. I hope you are finding it quite easy. Now, next, we are going to start with fractions and we're going to convert them to percentages. Remember, before we started with percentages, converted them to fractions. Now we're going to go in the opposite way. We have fractions and we're going to convert them to percentages. Okay, 3/4 of the wall is yellow and 1/4 of the wall is green. How do we convert fraction to a percentage? We first have to always come up with an equivalent out of 100 equal parts. So 3/4, how do we convert it out of 100? We multiply times 25. What we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. And becomes 75 hundredths, which is simply 75%. I hope you remember that 75% is 3/4. 50% is 1/2. And 25%, I hope you remember that it's 1/4. Okay? Now, another method which we will find very common, and I want you to start using this method quite often. Let's look at that. 3/4 of 100. What is 3/4 of 100%? Remember that language, of 100, of 100. That means we take 100, we split it into 4 equal parts, and we take 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So if we take 100, divide it into 4 equal parts, each part will be 25, 25, 25, 25. So we can go like this. This turns into 100 divided by 4 is 25. 3 times 25 is 75. We can use multiplication of 100 or other quantities. So it's the same as 75%. Let's practice converting fractions to percentages. 2/5 is the same as 4/10 or 40 out of 100. 40%. 1/2 is 5/10, or 50 out of 100, or 50%. Now, express 7 out of 25. Well, step 1, 7 out of 25, write it as a fraction. Step 2, convert it into an equivalent, and times 4 on the bottom times 4 on the top, 28%. Another method which we will find to be very useful. We can say that this is 7/25 of 100 and use multiplication. Simplify before you multiply. 25 is divisible by 25, reduces to 1. 100 is divisible by 25, reduces to 4. 7 times 4 is 28%. Let's finish this page. Li Mei has 20 apples. Of them, 14 are red. Step 1, write it as a fraction. Step 2, convert it to 100 equal parts, times 5 on the bottom, times 5 on the top in the numerator. 14 times 5 is 70, which is the same as 70%. Li Mei has 70% of apples that are red. So let's practice. Let's practice at the bottom. 1/4, I hope you remember, it's the same as 25%. Now, 2/5, let's convert it to hundreds. 5 times what gives us 100? 5 times 20. What we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. It's 40 out of 100 equals 40%. 4/5, same thing. We know how to generate hundreds out of 5th. We have to multiply times 20 to come up with an equivalent. It is 80 out of 100, which is equivalent to 80%. 9 out of 20. We need to write an equivalent out of 100 equal parts. It's 45 hundredths, which is the same as 45%. 13 out of 20. Convert it. Find an equivalent out of 100 equal parts. Multiply times 5. It's equivalent to 65 out of 100, which is the same as 65%. 6/25. Step 1. Convert it to 100 equal parts. 6 times 4, 24, or 24%. 25th, such easy fractions, super easy for you guys. I know that. We have to multiply times 4, which is equivalent to 56 out of hundreds, or 56%. And finally, 41/50th is the same as 82 out of 100, or 82%. My friends, we've finished the introduction to percentages. I hope you found this exercise very intuitive, very simple, because you understand your fractions.